Today's video is a bit of a surreal one because tomorrow I turn 26. Last year I made a video on the life lessons I learned going into 25, and of course I gotta make a updated version of this. I mean, every year, if you're doing it right, you're learning stuff, and I love to share my life lessons with you guys, but also I honestly love talking about stuff like this. So without further ado, I'm just gonna dive into it. The first big one is the struggle about not telling people about your goals. So I've actually made a couple videos on this topic since those videos came out. I mean, I guess I've made some progress, but at the same time, it's still a struggle. I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, we were having lunch, and he's going through early stage interview process for a company he's been dreaming about working at for a long time. And I simultaneously have an interview myself coming up for a new company, but I didn't tell him about it because one, I wanted to be a good listener and just, be there to soak up his concerns. But also because when you tell people about big life goals and stuff, you almost get a sense of validation from just telling them that you want to do X, Y, and Z before you even accomplish the thing. And honestly, that almost takes away from actually doing the thing. That is a piece of advice that I heard from David Lasmarenas from How to Beast. That is definitely a struggle that I constantly deal with. It's just trying to keep my goals to myself. Not only do you get a sense of validation from telling people your goals and stuff, but it can deter from your goal itself. It can almost change your mind. You can get the wrong influence, and it's just not really a good thing. And in order to make the real progress you want to make, just keep it inside. Maybe confide in one or two people you're close with, and then you're good. Until you accomplish the thing. When you accomplish the thing, then you can brag about it or just tell people, because that's where you have meaningful progress. And going off of that, I'm making a genuine effort to follow through with everything that I say that I'm gonna do, whether it is something that I tell another person or if it's a promise to myself. And I gotta say, this week specifically, I have been almost 100% there with every goal that I set for every day, or just every task that I set for every day. I've been hitting it, and I'm currently in the middle of a sugar fast where I just didn't eat anything sweet all week. I honestly feel great. It started to negatively affect me whenever I've fallen into a sugar, whatever you want to call it, sugar coma or something. I don't want to say that I struggle with binge eating, but I kind of do. But that's honestly a topic for a whole other video. I have kept the promise that I made to myself all week where I haven't consumed any sugar, and I feel better for it. I already feel my own internal dialogue relationship with myself improving, just based off of trying to keep myself accountable and just do everything I say that I'm gonna do every day. The next big lesson that I wanted to talk about is definitely something I've mentioned already in another video at some point. I couldn't pinpoint the exact video, but it is that your social circle definitely shrinks and evolves as you get older. This is something that I've honestly struggled with. It has caused me to lean into my addictive vice, which is eating. I've noticed that in the past, going into a weekend, honestly like this, where I don't have any solid plans, where I'm not going to hang out with friends or do anything super exciting and just kind of grind on whatever goals I have set, it doesn't necessarily feel the same, and I would feel bad about that. But now that I'm entering my 26th year of existence, I've adjusted, and I feel better about just doing the smaller things that will lead me to where I'm meant to be, instead of making plans with people all the time, especially where those people may not necessarily have the same goals as me, and I'm trying to set up the life that I want to live for the rest of my life from here. And for being honest, a lot of the people around me aren't really trying to do that, and they're either just content where they're at and just living their life, or just kind of focused on getting by. Either way, and I'm trying to strive for more than just getting by, and I want to love my life. So I realized that very few people are really dialed into that self-improvement grind, and I'm not perfect by any means. I'm not better than anyone, but I've noticed that there's a very small handful of people in my own circle that are on that same wavelength of growth and trying to build their dream life. The next lesson is a complete spin-off of what I just said, but being around the wrong people honestly drains you. I don't want to say that I'm hypersensitive to it, but it's definitely something that I've noticed. Even if my goals are not 110% aligned with the said person, I definitely know when someone I'm around is someone who fills my cup per se. That saying is something I got from my therapist that I really like, is that certain people will fill your cup more than others, and then some people drain your cup. And like I said, it's something that that I've just really got into tune with, and I really notice now. Being around the wrong people definitely drains you, and I can see how it can negatively influence you too, even in not such a drastic way. I also find myself becoming a lot more selective of who I hang out with for this reason, because I know who makes me feel good and who's more draining and stuff like that. And I don't really feel as bad about it anymore, honestly. Although there are definitely moments where I would like to reconnect with certain people I've kind of lost touch with, but at the same time, you really are a sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And honestly, over the last year, I spent a lot of time on YouTube consuming content from people that I aspire towards, and those are the people that I relate to the most, at least goal-wise and life trajectory and stuff. So you could say that those are people in my circle, are just the people that I listen to on YouTube. But that's honestly just kind of how it is. I've accepted that, although I've dialed it down with content consumption as of late. Another big life lesson that I learned while being 25 is that while dating is a learned skill, just by going out there and doing it and talking to girls or guys, whatever you're into, it's not the end all be all, and it's not gonna be the make it or break it thing to where I'm like definitively happy versus like depressed or whatever. As I've been dating here and there, I realized that I've developed a take it or leave it attitude, because like I know my self-worth. I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to waste her time, whoever she might be. And honestly, if she wanted to, she would. Like, that's kind of where I'm at right now. I realize that dating apps almost give us this false sense of how replaceable people are in general, but I personally have found that the girls I've connected the most with are girls that I'm not looking for. They just kind of pop into my life in moments where I'm not looking for it, and I'm just, you know, doing what I want, doing what I love, like fulfilling my purpose. As I've gone on trips over the last few years have been when I've made some pretty solid connections. But at the end of the day, like, I know it's important to like not devalue each individual person, because no one person is replaceable. But at the same time, I've learned how important it is to not get super attached, at least in like the early stages, because it's honestly kind of toxic. Like, you never know like what the other person is really thinking until like you're seeing them for a fairly long time, like maybe like a 3-month bubble if you even make it that far. At the end of the day, I value myself more than any one relationship, and I definitely realize how important it is to have that relationship with yourself before jumping into it with somebody else. And there have been times where I've almost second-guessed my own standards because I'm thinking that maybe they're too high, but then at the same time, Hamza said something along the lines of, the person you marry is the single most important decision you make in your life. Why would you settle or compromise in that decision? And yeah, you know, dating around, it's not necessarily serious in the early onset of things, but at the end of the day, if you're not dating to marry, like, what are you doing? That's never really been my thing, personally. Whenever I do date, unless I'm just traveling and, you know, trying to meet people broadly, if I'm like home-based somewhere, I'd be looking for something serious. I don't know. Being with a girl will make me happy, but it's not the end-all be-all, honestly. Like, it doesn't really matter if I'm with the right girl if I'm not like living a purpose true to myself and I'm living a life that I don't want to escape from. So that's more or less where my focus is right now. And honestly, with dating, I can take it or leave it. And sure, like, dating can add to your life experience for sure. The right girl or like guy, whatever you're into, will bring substantial value into your life. But if you're not living a life true to your purpose or like what you want out of life, dating isn't gonna fill the void, isn't gonna fill that emptiness you might be feeling. Recently, I've dated here and there, and I almost felt like said girl could like weigh me down, and that's no disrespect to any of them. It's just, I know what I want out of life, and if a girl isn't aligned to that, then that's fine, we keep going. And that's what I like about dating in my 20s. There's no bullshit, there's no fluff, there's no, oh, like if I ask her out and she says no, I'll see her again in class. Like, there's none of that crap. It's just pretty clear cut. I just got a call from my buddy. We're gonna go grab lunch, and I'll film the rest of this afterwards. But the one thing that I wanted to dive into before I head out is that now that I've been moved out, I can see how freaking easy it is to just get complacent and fall into the system and just be like another cog, just kind of like working mindlessly in a job until you die. Like, honestly, I see the system for what it is. And it's honestly kind of stressful. I've been a software engineer for like 2 or 3 years now, at least with that title, and like it doesn't feel like 2 or 3 years. It's like time's going by so freaking quickly. I mean, I live a pretty good life right now, but I'm still striving for more, and I still want to not be a software engineer but still make the same money someday. And it's just crazy because if I don't make any drastic moves to get there, I'll blink and 10 years will be by and I'll be in the same spot. And I can see how easy it is to just get trapped like that. And like I said, it's honestly stressful. It stresses me out. I remember having similar thoughts around this time last year, and yeah, I don't know what else to say. Like, a whole ass year has gone by. It feels like I'm in the same spot, but at the same time I'm not, because like I moved out and I'm living my own life and I've been largely independent this whole time. Like, even though I'm likely gonna move back in with my parents in a few months, that's a different thing. It is so important to have goals and to keep learning and to keep aspiring for more once you're out of the school system, because it is so easy to just kind of like get complacent, fall into it, and just be like, all right, this is good enough. And then that's where you get stuck. One of my biggest fears is getting to a point in life where I'm stuck and I genuinely can't do the thing, whatever it might be, because I can't. I'm stuck. Like, whether it's kids or just being financially tied to some job or whatever, that is something that I am probably irrationally scared of. And I mean, I honestly shouldn't, because I have a pretty valuable set of skills to contribute to the market as it is, as a software engineer and just every other job that I've had before that. But still, it's something to just be aware of. It's something I'm trying hard to not forget just as life continues to go by so damn quickly, if I'm throwing that in there. But it's really easy to get complacent and just lose track of goals as time goes by. Whether or not you write them on your wall like I did, I may show a clip of that, but do things to stay focused on your goals so that you don't get complacent in life. Because if you're not working to something, that's when you start to stagnate. And Hamza said something that I love: complacency is the killer of man. And honest to God, it's the truth. Like, it's so fucking dramatic, but it's the truth. All right, we're back. The next one I wanted to dive into is the fact that it's super easy to lose sight of your goals over time. I was just starting to talk about this before I had to go, but basically, as every day goes by, if you're not like finding a way to remind yourself of the bigger picture, it's so easy to get detracted from your goals, whether it be just because you're working a 9-to-5 job, you're working a job, all the little crap you gotta do, like cooking for yourself, laundry, cleaning, like literally everything. It makes it so much more challenging to make any kind of progress towards your goals. All that little stuff just takes energy and focus away from the bigger picture. So like, what I've been trying to do to avert this is just to remind myself of my goals. Like, I'm constantly journaling like why I want to do X, what do I even want to do. I'm constantly trying to like focus on that. And even though I feel myself segueing more into the do I want to do this, so then I almost get trapped in the analysis paralysis realm, but that's just me personally. Still, it's important to find ways to just keep on reminding yourself of what you're working towards and why you're working towards it. And just, I find that journaling and having stuff like posted around your living space, literally on just like pieces of paper, is enough to remind me of my why and what I'm working towards. The next big one, manifesting is totally real. I always thought it was kind of like a woohoo thing that people on YouTube always talk about and stuff, until it happened to me. And I'll honestly make a different video on this at some point. Back in November of 2022, I totally manifested something into my life. It's totally real, and it's kind of crazy. When I had the realization that I did manifest it, I was like tripping. Not like on drugs or anything, but just like I was really shook by the realization that I had manifested this thing into reality. It's literally a subject for another video if I feel like talking about it at some point. If you want me to talk about my manifestation experience, definitely let me know. I don't really want to go into it in this video, but manifesting is real. If you set the right intention towards whatever it might be and keep reaffirming that intention and taking like baby steps to work towards it, you'd be surprised where you'll end up in. Could be anywhere from like a couple weeks out or more. Another big lesson that I learned is that splitting your focus can really deter from your goals. This is something I've really struggled with because I habitually try to do too much at at once. So it really does just take away from every individual thing. It's more valuable to lock in onto one or two things at once, make insane progress on those one or two things, and then see where that gets you over a period of 3 to 6 months. I know that going into this year, my big goals were become fluent in Spanish by the end of the year, get a six-pack by June, and start making money from photography. I don't really remember when I had set that deadline by. I guess it was before the end of my lease, but two of those three things came into fruition. One of them, the photography one, came into fruition in a way that I didn't expect, but nonetheless, I've started making money from photography, so it's really cool and exciting, and it's only up from here. So that's really cool. And becoming fluent in Spanish by the end of the year, I don't know if I'll be fluent by the end of the year, to be honest, because I feel like that will take a solid 3 or 4 months of dedicated focus to achieve that. I've definitely gotten better at learning Spanish. I can put together sentences, I can kind of understand some things, but that's the piece that I'm really struggling with, and I will probably continue to struggle with for a long time. But the one thing that I didn't achieve was six-pack abs, and to be completely honest, I'm not really butthurt about it. Over time, my motivation just kind of went away. I mean, I learned to just be grateful for my physique as it is, because I'm pretty built, and I'm just grateful to have the muscle that I've built over the years, and I've been kind of just doing my thing at the gym, which has been the same push-pull leg shoulder split for like over a year now, honestly, so I didn't really change anything up, and it's really just the diet piece is what I've been missing. I know it's only gonna get harder to get abs the older that I get, but the goal to get abs has been replaced with just moderation of sugar. That is 110% my crutch over the years, is my sweet tooth. Everyone has their fix, and that's mine, and I've developed some pretty unhealthy habits since I moved out, so that is the one goal that I let go of, and that's okay. I'm entirely okay with focusing on building out my photography skills and business throughout the rest of the year, and just continuing to learn Spanish, because honestly it's a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to the day I can go to a country in Latin America or Spain and just have a blast. This split focus is also why I've stopped trying to upload frequently. I was able to maintain a weekly upload up until the new year. From August 2022 until January 2023, I was uploading weekly. Now my YouTube channel has entirely become a passion project, just because while I want my YouTube channel to grow, I don't have a need to grow it like ASAP, and it's not like my main goal, I guess. It's really just something I'm doing as a passion project at this point, and that's okay. I made a YouTube channel because I've had this epiphany last year that all the people that are living any semblance of a life that I'm living have started a YouTube channel. So I just started one without really any goal or theme, I should say, like no niche. If you've been following my channel for any semblance of time, you'll know that I've been posting videos of just like my reptiles, random travel vlogs, self-improvement content like this. It's been all over the place. I've literally just been making videos of what I feel like it, and I haven't really cared, to be honest, and it's great, and I want to be able to keep that flow going. So that's really where I'm at with YouTube, but my split focus is why I haven't been uploading as much. The next lesson, I mean, really this isn't a lesson, this is just like a struggle of mine, is just that I've been consuming too much social media and really struggling with my phone addiction. Over the last year, I've really gone through it with over-consuming self-improvement content, not really taking as much action as I should be. It really did get to a point where I enjoyed listening to the advice, but then I would never apply it, even though it's not entirely bad to do that. If you do over-consume self-improvement concept, you really do internalize the lessons, but still, internalizing does not necessarily equate to application, and that's definitely something I need to work on. It's too easy to get lost in social media these days, and maybe it's hypocritical for me to even be trying to grow on social media in any form, but I mean, I kind of enjoy this, so it's kind of cool. And one more thing I wanted to add, I'm not sure how many uploads I'm at right now, but I do know that at the time of my recording, I'm at 50 subscribers, and I'm not sure how many videos I've uploaded at this point, but I do know that last year on my birthday in 2022 is when I uploaded my first ever video with no real plan, no real goal, just that I knew that everyone that I look up to online is someone with a YouTube channel, and anyone who's living any kind of a life that I would want to live has a YouTube channel. So I decided to just take the plunge without having any kind of a real plan other than just knowing that one thing. Now, a year later, without any real plan, I've managed to accrue 50 subscribers. I just wanted to say that if you're watching this, if you made it this far, I greatly appreciate you and thank you for taking an interest in my channel and staying along for the ride. I honestly don't know where this channel is gonna go, what it's gonna turn into. I'm still torn on content creation in general. Like, there's a part of me that enjoys it, and then there's a part of me where it feels like it's a little much. Either way, I'm having fun at this point, and I hope that you decide to continue to watch and see where this channel goes. All right, take care guys, much love.